Welcome to 123 Minimize, the podcast about easy minimalism for busy moms with Jody and Linnea.
Today we're getting back to basics and we're going to talk about how to get started with minimalism when you have little kids. So before we jump into the tips, let's just talk about a little bit of what minimalism is all about. So it's not just about having fewer things, it's about making room for more. So more time, more happy memories with your family, more meaningful time together, and less time cleaning. It's about decluttering, but not just your physical space, but also your schedule and your mind, with the goal of focusing on what truly adds value to your life so that you can let the rest go.
Yeah, and when I think of young children, that era of motherhood, my experience and pretty much any mom I've ever talked to, it's one of the most physically tiring seasons of your life, especially if you have multiple small children where you've got toddlers and now you're pregnant and you're nursing still. And because with babies, you're not always sleeping, and even with toddlers, you're still not always sleeping through the night, and it can be so physically exhausting. So I think that we can even go further and say that minimalism really could add energy. Because if you're spending less time cleaning and more time, like quality time with your kids, your cup is going to be filled more, and you're not going to feel as exhausted and frustrated. I know I was very frustrated because I felt like I wasn't keeping up, and then it kind of reflects on your self-esteem as a mom. You know, you feel like, why can't I keep up? So I think that minimalism can really help you as a whole as a mom.
I would even add to that and say, with the first baby, I think that's what really kind of changes you. In that maybe before kids, you could take a nap when you wanted. You were getting 9 hours of sleep. You had more freedom, more like free time. You know, even if you're working, you have that free time in the evening. And when you have that first baby, you can't really anticipate how tired you're going to be and how long you're going to be tired. Right? Like, it's like a year of getting 3 hours of sleep in a row. Or a year of really never having just time on your own, or hardly. And it depends on how much support you have and stuff like that, of course. But it really changes you. And so that first one is a little rough, I think, for me personally, inside of like, oh my goodness, this is what it's like. And then the second one, you kind of expect it. You know you're going to be exhausted. You know, it does get more, but like your bar is raised a little bit. So you're like, okay, I know what I'm getting myself into. That first baby, you're like, no way. You know, like you're not going to sleep 8 hours until your last kid is like, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be a bit of a haul, but you adapt.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's the same with the first, when your first becomes a toddler. I remember thinking, oh man, I thought I was busy with a baby. Babies are so easy. You feed them, you change them, and then they sleep. I'm like, toddlers, you got to chase them around. You got to make sure they're not falling down the stairs, make sure the baby gates are closed, like they're quiet. What are they doing in the other room, you know? And that was another like, whoa, you know, what was I thinking? You have another, like you said, that bar is raised again. Like, okay, now I see what these toddler years are like, you know.
So let's talk about tips. If somebody has, they're in the thick of it. They got the baby, they got the toddler or a couple toddlers. What tips do you have for them to get started so they can get to the path where their life is just easier?
Well, I think probably the first thing is to set your expectations. And what I suggest is to start really small, and don't be afraid to start small. Don't think that it's not going to make a difference, because it will. Because you don't have a lot of time and a lot of energy right now, right? So maybe set a timer for 15 minutes. Maybe when your kids are napping, or maybe it's 15 minutes before they wake up or right after they go to bed. And if that's all the time you have, find 15 minutes and just do what you can, and then be satisfied with that, and then move on with it the next day. And then I would just look at your belongings and think about what things you have that truly bring you joy. Like one-time use appliance that was supposed to make krumkaka, which is like a Norwegian or Swedish specialty dish and try to use it once. And like, it was really hard to use without burning yourself. It was super stressful. The kids were trying to help me. And I think I kept it for a long time in my basement, and I really only tried to use it once. That thing really was not adding any joy to my life. I thought maybe it would because I like Scandinavian stuff, but I ended up not using it. So that was just something that we did not need anymore. But on the other hand, we have a waffle iron, and we would do that maybe twice a month, make waffles. And so that was actually something that we enjoyed using. So next would be just to create simple routines. So maybe you would incorporate just a little bit of decluttering each day and then make a simple routine for daily cleanup. That will help you end the day with a clean sink and with the toys picked up. You can include your kids, even if they're toddlers. They can help pick up their toys before they go to bed or before nap time. And having just simple routines, they don't have to be complex. Another thing as far as like decluttering, if you're wanting to take on decluttering, start with things that give you the quickest feeling of success. So that would be like counters or your entryway or your kitchen, or the bathroom is an easy place to start. Start with those things that are easiest and quickest because you'll get that sense of satisfaction. It'll be an area that you see often throughout the day, and it will be really motivating for you to keep going. Another thing, this could totally cut down time, is just to keep a donate box like in your closet or in your garage, maybe one in multiple rooms. And then as you're going through your regular daily cleaning and you come across something that you know you want to donate, you can just toss it in the box. So you don't need to set aside 15 minutes to do that. You just, as you're going about your day, without any extra time, you just toss in the box. Then when the box is full, you can take it and donate it. You can also keep a maybe box, which will really help you cut down on that decision fatigue. So if you're looking in your closet to get dressed for the day and you pull off a shirt and you're like, I don't know the last time I wore this. I'm not sure if I want to keep this or not. Throw it in your maybe box. Come back to it in a month or two. See if you missed that item or not. And then you might be able to make a decision better at that point. The last thing that I would suggest really is to overcome the all or nothing mentality. Because as you know, with young children and babies, the chances of you having a whole day to uninterrupted work on anything is very slim. And so picture this, like you think that to make progress decluttering your home, you have to have a big chunk of time like that. So you look at your calendar, you find a date like next month, it's on a Saturday, you coordinate with babysitters, you do this whole thing, you spend the whole day decluttering, and now at the end of the day, you're exhausted, you didn't exactly get through your whole house, you have a ton of decisions to make all at once, and then you have a whole bunch of stuff that you need to go and donate or give away for free on a Buy Nothing group. And in your mind, you were like, wow, that was a lot of work. I don't know if I ever want to do that again. And you're exhausted. Versus you could just spend 15 minutes a day and create a sustainable habit where you are just working on one little thing at a time, like one drawer or one counter in your kitchen or one cupboard, something very, very small every single day. And now at the end of the week, you've been decluttering for like 2 or 3 hours total, and you're probably going to start seeing results pretty quickly, more quickly than you think you will. A lot of the people that have gone through our declutter events have all said the same thing, that they had that kind of all or nothing mentality before. And going through the event, they learned the habit of just working on it a little bit every day, and they were blown away by the amount of success they had after a month. So imagine if you felt that way after a month. How would it look if you kept going for 3 months or 6 months? So building it into your daily habits instead of thinking you need a huge chunk of time, I promise you will make progress a lot faster than you think. So just let that empower you, because I know it's so easy to feel defeated when you're really busy and exhausted with young children. But you absolutely can take this on with just 15 minutes a day.
I love those tips. And I think no matter what, just do what you can. Like if you have a goal of getting your sink clean at night, but you had a rotten day, leave the dishes.
Yeah.
leave the dishes. Who cares? You know, your priority is taking care of your kids. And if this stuff helps you, then great. And if there's days when it doesn't, then whatever. There's always tomorrow. The dishes will absolutely be there. Well, unless like your spouse or partner, unless they do them. That's good too, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, cleaning will wait for you. It has a funny way of doing that. There's no like laundry magic in the middle of the night or dishes or whatever. Just don't put a lot of pressure on yourself.
Right.
Because this is a busy, busy time.
Right.
And it will pass like they say it does.
Yep.
It does.
It does.
But I get it that it's hard in the moment, and it's hard when your living room is trashed with toys and dishes are everywhere and the babies have been crying all day.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just sit there and hold the babies, and
Yep.
you know, you'll have a different day where everybody will be entertained and you'll be able to clean everything up. So it doesn't need to be consistent. Simplify it as much as possible.
Right.
So this is a good time to mention our upcoming fall Declutter event. It will be starting October 2024. It is a 4-week Facebook event. So we host it in a private Facebook group that only people who have purchased the event can get into. So it's a nice small community of supportive people. We give you all the tools and the coaching that you need for these 4 weeks. So you'll receive a 70+ page workbook, and you'll be part of a private Facebook group. You'll also have 2 months free in our membership community for additional support during the following months that we call maintenance mode.
Maggie was a participant in one of our past events, and this was her experience.
The momentum kind of helped me get out of that paralyzed feeling that I always used to have when I would think about decluttering or purging or whatever similar thing, because I finally just did it. I think I brought 135 to the sale and sold 106. So
Don't miss this event. We are going to have so much fun providing you with guidance through daily tasks, tips, prizes, and coaching. Registration is now open at our website, and we would love to have you join us.
Okay, so we have some questions from some of our members in our group. Maria's asking about laundry. So she's tried daily loads for years and is realizing it's not really for her. She's hoping to do 1 or 2 laundry days per week, and she wants to hear what works for other people. What works for us for quite a while now is to have a dirty laundry basket in their room. And when they're done using their clothes, they just throw it in the basket. And when the basket's full, it just gets washed and dried. I don't sort it. It's just washed, dry, and then back in their closet to get put away. And that way there's no sorting of laundry, and it gets folded while it's getting put away for that kid, or for all of my kids now. They're old enough to do their own laundry. But I used to have this, I would always joke about doing laundry. I've tried the 1-day laundry day, and I just wash it all together. It takes a whole day, just load after load. And what I ended up with laundry mountain. And by the end of the day, I didn't want to put it away. I was exhausted. So the kids would play in it. The cat would lay in it. It was just ugh, right? So I stopped doing that, and I actually kept it separated the whole time. The whole laundry life cycle, it was separate. And so then if the basket's full, they just bring it down, wash, dry, put it back away. For towels, that's the same. People have their own towels. They wash their own towel. For kitchen towels and stuff like that, I keep a basket, a dirty clothes basket in the laundry room. When that gets full, then I run it through wash, dry. And actually, I wash it on hot then, because you're really supposed to wash kitchen towels and washcloths on hot. So that's how we do it. It works well. Are we doing laundry often? Sure. I mean, the individual people are doing laundry often. When my girls shared clothes, because they were the same size and they were young and just shared clothes, that was harder. I had to wash them together because I didn't know who was going to wear what. I mean, toddler years, elementary years, they shared clothes. So
here's another question from our member group. They're wanting to talk about toys. They're saying they have so many toys, but they have a really hard time purging them. Grandparents and family love to buy the kids' toys. We try to tell them no, but they don't really listen. What can they do to help their kids get rid of some of the toys? They've noticed that their kids play with the same type of toys all the time.
Well, that's a great question, and we really struggled with that in the early years, getting a lot of toys given to us as gifts, or people don't need them anymore and bring it over. My kids would enjoy playing with it for a while, but often items they would just not want anymore. Which is sometimes hard at certain ages because if you say, do you want this? Then they're going to play with it for an hour and then it's going to go back to not being used. So sometimes I would put stuff away for a while and see if they would ask for it. You could do toy rotation. I did at that time sell a lot of stuff on Marketplace and put it towards something else for that child. Something else they wanted, like a bigger gift, like a yard thing or something. But I would, ask like, can we put money towards something instead of a lot of plastic gifts? And it just it didn't go over well. But ultimately, I feel like that's their choice. And then what I do with the item is my choice.
Right.
So it can't stop somebody from doing something. But in the end, if I'm like tripping over it every night at 2 a.m. or something and nobody's playing with it, it's probably not going to stay around too long.
Yeah. Well, and I know too, grandparents love to get things for their grandkids.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is something that this person has tried or not, but it's not guaranteed to work, but it might be helpful if you had a list of experiences that your kids would enjoy and make those suggestions to them. Then they might have some ideas of what they could do instead of buying toys, because they're going to want to buy stuff and maybe they just don't know what else because the kids open the thing and they're really excited and that's like rewarding to the grandparents too.
Yeah.
But some of the things that we've done in the past with experiences, like one year I surprised my kids and we did a joint party for all of them and we went to a water park and we came with just like one friend each for each of them and we paid for that, and then I didn't have to decorate my house or clean my house or anything. And so before we went, we surprised them, they didn't know about it, and then they each got a new swimsuit and new goggles. And so that was like a physical thing they got to open. It was very exciting. And then they went and they had an experience that they still remember. And this was probably a decade ago. So you could, get creative and make those suggestions. And again, it'll be up to them if they want to take those suggestions or not, the grandparents.
Yeah.
But maybe it will help them to see the value in that and might work. But you can do it for yourself too as a parent.
Yeah.
Another thing we've done too is think about consumable things that they will use that are maybe things that are tools or like consumable, like art supplies, things they're going to use and enjoy but use up, so it won't always be there as a permanent item. Or like if we're going to go to a national park, it might be a new pair of binoculars that we know we're all going to use as a tool. And that's like almost adding like educational value instead of like a toy. But we do have a gift guide on our website as well. It's a free download. It's a holiday gift guide, but you can use it and tweak it for it could be for birthdays or any season. So you can find the link for that in the description of this podcast.
Okay, here's another question. How do you get past the what if I need it thought? So how do you get rid of stuff even when you're thinking, oh, I might need this someday?
A couple things come to mind for me right away. One is keeping a maybe box. We've talked about that a lot before. Having a box where you can put stuff that you're unsure of. You think you might not need it, but you're not sure. Put it in there for a set period of time. I don't know, like a month or 3 months. Come back and look at it. Did we use this at all? And that might help you make a decision. You could turn your clothes hangers backward and see after a full season of those types of clothes, like after a full season of summer, look at your summer clothes, which hangers were not turned around, as in you didn't wear them. That might help you know that you don't need those clothes anymore. Think about things that you could use or borrow for free, like some, books from the library or tools. Maybe something you could rent really inexpensively if it was something you just needed for like a one-day project. Post hole digger or some sort of electric tool. And then join groups like Buy Nothing. There's a lot of Buy Nothing groups in your area. And if you start looking on there, you can see the kind of things that people are often giving away for free. And the awesome thing there is if it's something you need and it's only for a special project, you can get it for free and use it, and then you can give it away for free. So then you don't even have to store it, and you don't waste any money on it either.
Yeah, another tip would be if you haven't used it in a year. Think about it, because then you've went through the whole season cycle, holiday cycle, and if there's something that you didn't use last Christmas, you're probably not going to use it this Christmas. One tip that I hear a lot is if you can get it in under 20 minutes for $20. But I do understand the pushback of that is if you got rid of 100 things that cost you $20, that's a lot of money. So I just think, stopping the buying in the first place of new items is like a huge step towards minimalism.
Yeah.
And just peeling off the layers of an onion in your house. So you open the kitchen drawer and you declutter it and you take off one layer of stuff. And you have maybe 5 things that are a maybe. Well, I bet after you've gone through the rest of your house and you got better at it, you'll go back to that same drawer and take out at least 3 more things.
Yeah.
And by that time, you're going to be sure.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be like, oh, what if I need this to make that? Because you won't have used it that whole month.
I will add too. We are full-time RVers. There's 6 of us. We live in an RV for 3 years now. We do have a storage unit because we are going to move it back into a house eventually. So we have some furniture and things that were sentimental that, like my husband used to paint. So we have a bunch of his paintings and we're going to hang those back up on our walls when we move in. But there has been stuff that we kept that we thought we'll use this when we're going to be in a house. But it's been 3 years now. And I was just digging through my storage the other day and like looking at some of the boxes and I was like, wow, I'm not going to use this ever again, even if I have a house.
Yeah.
And here I've been storing it and I forgot I even had it. And so I know that there's definitely more layers of my onion to peel when we go back through the storage. But boy, a lot can change in 3 years.
Yeah.
And we got rid of ton of stuff when we moved out of our house. We had way too much stuff. We were not minimalists yet. And I can't even tell you what all that stuff was.
Right.
I literally cannot. I'd have to go back and look at pictures of like stuff that I took pictures of so that I could put it on the like Craigslist, come get it for free on the curb alert thing. Because I really don't remember any of it. So, I mean, again, I had to go through that whole process too. What if we need this again someday when we move into a house? Or what if I want this later on? Don't remember what any of it was.
Yeah.
So probably, I'm just saying, probably most of the time, you won't need it.
Right.
I'm guessing.
Yep.
Probably 80%, I would say, at least.
But having that confidence and growing that confidence is important.
Yeah.
So you don't have a ton of regret. And then you don't have to like go back and purchase it again.
True.
So kind of slowing down and doing it a slower way is probably better in the long run to feel like you're really good at it and you know exactly like you're decisive when you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, and that's where a maybe box can come in handy too. Because then you've given yourself more time to really think about it and see if you've missed those items. And then you can kind of build trust with yourself or be like, oh yeah, that decision I was thinking, that was the right decision. And then you know that it'll become easier to make that decision next time. We hope you enjoyed delving into this topic with us and found a few tips that might help you on your journey. We want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our amazing listeners for tuning in. Your support and curiosity are what keeps us going. For more tools and resources to help you on your journey toward a simpler life, visit our website, www.123minimize.com. If you found today's episode valuable, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an opportunity to explore new ideas and perspectives. And if you're inclined, leave us a review, which helps to spread the word to others who might enjoy the journey too. As always, feel free to connect with us on Facebook or Instagram to share your thoughts, suggestions, or just to say hi. Until next time, stay motivated. Take care.